Okay, let's get started. So, thanks for your patience. Uh, so, uh, this course is all about cloud automation using Python and Terraform. Okay, so yeah, we can discuss more on this on the coming slides. Okay, so I don't know how many of you have attended the demo, but this is like a having a mix of demo and the class as well. Okay, so introducing myself. So my name is Kuna Parmeshwar Rao. Okay, so I work for an MNC organization as well as Visualpath, and I have a decade years of experience in Visualpath and 12 plus experience in IT industry. So currently I'm working as an principal SRE. In my job on day to day, I deal with infrastructure related things, and mainly I will focus on Kubernetes, OpenStack, such and such. I will be giving the platform for my customers to provision their applications and such and such. Okay, so yeah, that's more about myself. Okay, so jumping onto this course. Okay, so why we have chosen this particular topic like cloud automation. Okay, so as we see the people who are getting trained in DevOps, okay, so they are learning more and more about a particular tools and how the tool functionality is and all. But the problem is once they onboard into the organization, the requirement is bit different. Like whatever the tool activity is there, that is fine. But when actually when the tool gets applied into the environment, okay, there needs a lot of customization for that tool. Okay, so for that customization, the problem is we need to do some automations. Okay, we need to write some automations. Okay, some scripts. So such requirements are there. Okay, wherein the people are failing to uh, develop such uh, scripts or automations. Okay, so keeping that in mind, we have designed this course in such a way that it will be a bridge for the people uh, who have a hands-on on DevOps tools and uh, who uh, who want to do some automations with those tools in the cloud. Okay, so that is the basic thing or the fundamental where we have designed this course. Okay, so when we say cloud automation, we are choosing a public cloud. Okay, so in the public cloud again we have a lot of services. Okay, so as you know, previously we have been using the DevOps tools like console, many other tools. Okay, so which are from the private vendors like HashiCorp, something like that. Okay, so we used to get those tools and we used to put it in our infrastructure, and then with those tools we used to monitor and Nginx for web services monitoring. Okay, so for such and such we use it from some external tools. Okay, but when we go into the cloud is providing again all the services. Okay, so we can consume that services and we can again uh, construct our infrastructure. Okay, so for even for doing that we need some automations, right? So we will discuss more on what are the use cases and where is the requirement coming from. Okay, but the bottom line is like even the cloud services, once we are going to use that in our enterprise level, we need some automations to be written. Okay, so here when we say cloud and automation, the cloud as it is giving the infrastructure, Okay, and the uh, majority of the organizations are using Terraform as a tool for doing all the operations and developments related to cloud. Okay, and when you tell automation, the Python is one of the trending language which is being used for writing the customizations what the enterprises need. Okay, so this is on and whole of uh, why we have designed this course. Okay, cloud automation. Okay, using Python and Terraform. So going depth. Okay, so today in the class we will see what this program is about, and what we will do, why we will do, and how we will do. Okay, and finally I will end up with questionnaire and conclusion. Okay, so just before going into the cloud, just we want to discuss how the organizations uh, doing. Okay, so the organizations are having previously, how the organizations used to have is they used to have their own private cloud. Okay, so uh, in the private cloud, meaning the company will have a vendor who is providing the complete data center to that particular organization. Okay, so only the connectivity will be there between the organization and that cloud. Okay, so it has some advantages, some disadvantages. Keeping that aside, this is what the traditional culture is. But still, if we see realistically, okay, a big companies like Amazon, uh, okay, its infrastructure, okay, its enterprise infrastructure is still only 30% being on the public cloud. Still it is also having its own private cloud to maintain its enterprise infrastructure. But what I am trying to say is the companies have not entirely migrated to public cloud. Still they are using the private cloud. Okay, so the migrations are happening very actively currently. Okay, switching from the private cloud to public cloud. But there are many challenges that organizations are facing when they are using the public cloud, because uh, here when comes to the public cloud, the problem is like uh, the cloud is getting shared between the organizations. Okay, here in the private, you only the particular organization will have the access to its entire network. But here the problem is the organizations will have many organizations will be sharing the infrastructure. So that is where there are challenges to provide the security. Okay, and to provide the elasticity. Okay, so that is the advantage, right, in the cloud. So the elasticity is something like the uh, the the part where you utilize, you will pay for it. Okay, the rest of the part will be used by the other organizations. Okay, so majorly you will be hearing two things like public clouds and private clouds. Okay, so when switching to the public cloud, this is what the challenges are. And you will be having this private network. Okay, where like see, whatever the organizations you are working, okay, you will be having your private network. Okay, so once you connect to the VPN, okay, you will be going into the private network. Now from this private network, again you may be connecting to a public cloud, or you may be connecting to a private cloud. Okay, so if it is a private cloud, it is uh, it's very easy, because the network will be already uh, established, okay, in very clean way. And in hardware itself, okay, you will be there will be no intranet connectivity, only it will be internet sorry there will be no internet connectivity, there will be only intranet connectivity. But when come to the public cloud, again from your private network you are switching to public cloud. Okay, why I am saying all this is, later to this course we will be discussing about many services. uh, regarding this public cloud, uh, which will focus on to maintain the security also. Okay, so that's the reason I'm saying all this. Okay, so when when you are using a public cloud, now the problem is like, how do you maintain the infrastructure? That's the biggest question, right? So how do you maintain the infrastructure? Okay, so how do you orchestrate the infrastructure? These things will come into picture. So to maintain the infrastructure, the cloud providers are coming with various services. Okay, so in which our focus is infrastructure as a service, because whatever we need infrastructure. Okay, so we should focus on ES. Okay, so in the infrastructure as a service, what happens is the networking, meaning how the connectivity between your resources will happen, the storage, the servers, okay, the instances what you take, and the virtualization. Okay, so all these concepts, uh, uh, these concepts may be grouped here, but when going when we are discussing in the course, okay, we will be learning the services related to each group. Okay, so but the main thing is here, everything will be managed by the code. Okay, so it may be a declarative code like Terraform, but still everything will be there in a code, and whatever you want to manage in this four layers, okay, you need to manage with the coding only. Okay, so that is the reason why I'm showing this slide. So in this course you will be focusing on Terraform, Terraform declarative code to uh, maintain the infrastructure. Okay, so this is what all about the ES. Okay, so coming to more, I'm doing more granular on this. Okay, so what's the problem with the enterprises, okay, when using the public clouds? Okay, so public cloud, uh, being a vendor, he is providing a lot of uh, frameworks. Okay, like if you see cloud formation, or the Terraform itself is a tool, right, to manage the cloud. So still, why uh, we need an automation on top of that? Okay, can't we use directly? Can't we learn the service and implement the service as it is? But that's not the problem. When the cloud, whatever the service they are giving, they are uh, stick to maintain the service. Okay, and keep the service in high availability. That is what uh, uh, cloud will be uh, um, focused on. But the problem is, when we are utilizing the cloud, okay, there are some glitches, like how we are utilizing the resources. Okay, because it's a pay as you go model, enterprises are preferring cloud. But again, if you are not utilizing the resources properly, there is no point to go into a public cloud. Okay, so here some of the concerns I mentioned is for your understanding. Okay, if you go for authentication and authorization, we will be using HSM keys. So for a high secure mechanism, there are hardware modules which provide you the security keys. Okay, SSH keys are something like, they are software keys only, right? So you will be generating a pair of keys. Okay, and you will be sharing your public key. But HSM is something like, a hardware module will be there in the data center which will be providing the key. Okay, so I'm not going deep into it, but the problem is, whenever, let's say, you have deprecated one service. Okay, so it may be any instance, or you have deprecated an application or something like that. So the problem is like, whatever the instance it is running and whatever database it is running, you will you will be destroying those. But there are many chances, like whatever the keys you have generated for that infrastructure, okay, that are not, those will be left intact. Okay, so that again you need to scrutinize, and you need to see if the respective keys to respective application have been deprecated or not, because HSM keys is not like one step provisioning. Okay, so if you want to have a web service or something like that, you will have a one step provisioning, like, okay, this is my instance stack, this is my database stack, okay, this is my gateway or something like that. So when you want to remove that application, you will remove all the three modules, and you have cleared all your infrastructure. But HSM keys, when it will come is when the application is getting developed, you will be developing this SHM keys also. So when the user comes and says at this particular point I need a high security, okay, there you will keep one HSM key. Again, going forward, wherever the such situations occur, you will be provisioning the infra here. Okay, so what what I mean to say here, whatever the infrastructure you provisioned in between the application development, that that may not be handled properly during the deprecation of your application. Okay, so in such scenarios, okay, we need to have some automations running. Okay, you need to create some automations to scrutinize your infrastructure and see whether the unutilized infrastructure is properly getting destroyed or not. Okay, so I have given one such example. Okay, similarly applies from the network rules. Okay, whatever the policies you apply for the network tools. Let's say today your application needs to talk with an external database. Okay, tomorrow you have developed your own database, so there is no point to have external database. So the policies have been removed or not, as well as creating the policies also. Okay, because see, creating the policies also will not come in a one step, right? So as and when the application is getting developed, you will get the requirement of having new policies. Okay, uh, new users. So these all will be coming in between of the development. So here the thing is like the infrastructure getting created in one step, and the infrastructure getting created in between. Okay, during your application enhancements and deployments. Okay, so in order to manage all these, okay, we need to have a proper automations running behind the scenes to have your resources getting properly utilized. Okay, so custom images. So this is again a different thing. Like whenever you want to have a EC2 instance or any cloud, any instance, it requires some OS. But we cannot go blindly with the OS what the organizations gave, because there are only uh, I cannot tell it is a bare metal, but still it is like the minimum uh, what recipes they will include in that images. But being an organization, we will have our own customizations, right? So the images should have these packages before the instance comes to the user. Okay, so once the instance is uh, provisioned and uh, getting into the customer hands, again customer should not install all the required packages or the basic packages where the organization is using. Okay, so such and such all will be pre-packed in the OS itself. So even your organization laptops will have a uh, customized OS rather than what you get the OS outside. Okay, so all these images. Okay, so you need to have proper automations in behind the scenes to have these images getting rotated on a some interval basis. Okay, it may be quarterly or monthly, something like that. Even the storages. Okay, so a object storage is something like, even though you detach from your instance, it will still exist. Okay, so killing the instance will not kill your object storage. Again, you need to explicitly kill that storage. Okay, so I have picked few scenarios to make you understand that whatever the cloud given tools or uh, the DevOps given tools will not entirely satisfy the organization needs. Okay, so there needs some automations need to be written on top of all these services. Okay, so this course is mainly focused on such things. Okay, how in generic way, how do you understand a service, and what skill set is needed to write a automation for uh, satisfying, okay, a organization need. That is what here being focused. Okay, so in general, okay, when we see how the organizations uh, 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 are getting uh, their what their applications going. Okay, means I'm telling like how the enterprises are moving forward. Okay, how their future, how they are thinking in the future, their organization steps should be. Okay, so mainly the organizations still now have focused on DevOps, but if you see how the organizations are moving is like, from the DevOps, they are moving into DevSecOps. Okay, of course, DevOps is not getting deprecated. I mean to say that with the DevOps, they are also implementing DevSecOps. Okay, because every organization, uh, if you see their uh, 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 what we call the ethics or I forgot the term. Okay, so their main goal is to have give the security for the customer. Okay, so to tell the customer that whatever the application that being hosted on the public cloud is very secure. Okay, so for that, um, we are having DevSecOps into picture. Okay, so DevOps, then DevSecOps, then pipeline. So when I say automation, how the automation is getting pipelined. Okay, because once you give the business logic, you should not take care of getting that business logic into development environment or the production environment. Okay, your pipeline should take care of all those things. Okay, so when you say automation, there should be a pipeline, uh, pipelining way which will make your business logic to sit in your their respective environments. Okay, then post automation. So post automation is something like notifications. Okay, so how you send the notifications to the users, whether it is passed or failed or what's happening in that. Okay, so uh, for all this to happen, and for all this to happen with respect to infrastructure, okay, we have chosen Terraform and Python. Okay, so we will be going deep into each concepts here. Okay, so how we will deal DevOps with it, how we will deal DevSecOps with it, how we will pipeline our all what we have learned. Okay, so and then at the end how we will do the notifications, not only notifications, packaging also. So whatever the automation you have created, how do you package that automation? Okay, how do you maintain that automation? So these are also will be discussed in that post automation topics. Okay, so here majorly you will be hearing the terms like AWS cloud. So in the entire course we will be using the AWS cloud. okay, as our cloud base, okay, then Terraform to build the infrastructure, okay, and get our infrastructure ready, okay, and then we will be using a Python to write our automation script and see how our automation is running on that particular infrastructure. So this is what on a whole we will be doing in our course, okay. So how we will be dealing this in our uh, maybe I can say a workflow, okay, how we will be doing. So I can start with the basics. So the basics I will cover Python and Terraform, okay. Maybe I will start the Terraform first. And if you see, uh, Terraform is a declarative code, okay. There is no like object oriented or something like that in Terraform. It's a complete declarative code, okay. So what I will do is 90% of the Terraform will be covered in the Terraform basics itself, okay. The for loops, the if loops, or how do you handle the variables. So various things of Terraform declarative scripting will be handled in that basics only, okay. Later to that, you will be again going back to the basics and you will be getting that snippet of code and you will be writing the Terraform code for your use case, okay. So later also we will use the Terraform, but you will always refer back to your basic where the snippet code is, get that snippet and again enhance that snippet as per your use case, okay. So 90% of the Terraform will be discussed in that basics, okay. And then coming to Python, Python is again a very big language, but here we are not focusing on learning the entire Python, okay. Here we will learn the Python which whatever is required for infrastructure and doing the automation for that infrastructure. So uh, there may be some third-party modules also involved, okay, but we will be focusing on only the Python that is required for our uh, infra provisioning, okay. uh, and then we will discuss about the AWS services here. So as you know Terraform uh, well, okay, so here learning the AWS services have two parts, okay. One step is to provision the infrastructure using the Terraform. Second step is to do the action items on top of that using Python. Let's go with a small example like you want a EC2 instance. Okay. So provisioning the EC2 instance is available in is available with Python and Terraform. Okay. Using both you can do. But as an industry standard method, provisioning should be done with Terraform only. So you will be doing the using Terraform, you will be provisioning the EC2 instance. Then starting the instance, stopping the instance, or adding the AWS key to the instance, okay, or rotating the key to the instance. These are all some of the things which you will be doing in a uh, frequent basis, okay. So you may one day you may need to stop the instance or you may need to restart the instance, something like that, okay. So that is not a one step process, right? So always you will prefer Terraform to have a one-step process only. So you want something, you will provision something, that's it, your job is done. But if you have some action items, choose that with Python, okay? So if you want to restart a instance, you will be writing with the Pythonic code, okay? So I have gone with one simple example, but for every service, there needs two things. One is provisioning that service, another one is doing actions on that service, okay. So both we will study, okay, here and here when coming to AWS services there are n number of services, okay. So we are not choosing all the services here, okay. Whatever are required for a like for provisioning or for running the applications, whatever all the services are required, okay, we will be learning all those services, okay. And here the thing is, you need to write one automation also. You need to choose one particular use case and you need to write an automation, okay. So here in this AWS services web server, creating a web server may be a good kickstart for you to learn how to automate the uh, infrastructure as well as the web services customization also, okay. So I don't want to go deep again into what this automation is, but during the course we will be going studying deep into the that automation. But remember, for every topic we learn, okay, we will have one automation also at the end we need to write, okay. And we will use the Terraform there to create the infrastructure required for that particular automation, okay. So that is what the AWS services. Then we will jump on to system automation, okay. As you know, the AWS services, you can provision whatever the infrastructure you want, but how do you orchestrate that infrastructure, okay. That's the next part what the organizations will do. You, when you get your infrastructure, you need to orchestrate your infrastructure, okay. So that you will be doing with the system automation, okay. So in this you will be learning again the Python. How can you orchestrate using the Python, okay. So tomorrow, once you are into the organization, and if there has been given an infra to you and say, and they may ask like, this is what the orchestration we want for that particular infrastructure, okay. Install this this version. We want all this, okay. So for that all such requirements, okay, you need to write Python scripts again which deal with AWS and your orchestration, okay. So whatever the topic you are studying, okay, it will have dependency on the previous topics, okay. So you need to have the knowledge, you need to apply the knowledge what you have acquired previously for this automation to happen, okay. So here the system automation, let's say if you are doing something on EC2 instance, you need to know how to keep a IAM role for getting the access for that system, okay. So whatever the AWS services you studied, that will help you to do your system automation, okay. And here we will write especially one automation that is related to cron jobs, okay. So then you will have the Git and SCM tools where you need to manage your code, right? Whatever the Terraform scripts you are writing, whatever the AML scripts you are writing, here whatever you are writing, you are not storing it, but whatever the requirement is, you are going to generate those Terraform files, okay. Here when you come to this git scm, okay, here you will not be writing any Terraform code. Instead you will be generating the Terraform code, okay. So see, whatever the infrastructure you want 10 EC2 instances. Later you will be having a requirement of 100 EC2 instances. You should not be writing the Terraform code for all the requirements, okay. You should be having a automation which can generate the Terraform code, okay. So such things you will be doing here. So whatever the infrastructure is there, whichever is coming in a frequent uh, basis, okay. So such Terraform codes or such config files using AML, okay, you will be generating those files. So when I say generating, where you will store those files, you should store it in some source code repository, right? That is what we are concentrating here, okay. So how to generate a code and then how to save it in the source code repository, okay. Then I have picked this Kubernetes because lot of uh, cloud services or uh, if you take an application deployment, okay, organizations are either choosing their whole infrastructure, okay. They are picking the infrastructure, or else if you don't want to manage your infrastructure, okay, in auto scaling or something like that. Means dependent on the traffic, if you want to manage your infrastructure based on the traffic, and if you want to make it high availability, rather than going and picking each service, just you can pick Kubernetes also. Okay, so Kubernetes have all uh, the ability to scale your infrastructure or to manage your infrastructure, okay, based on the traffic. Okay, so lot of organizations are trending to move towards Kubernetes to decrease the maintenance costs. Okay, so I have chosen this Kubernetes also for that reason. So here another advantage is we will learn the Docker also. Okay, because now every tool, every infrastructure, every uh, maybe a software you can call, okay, is coming within a container. Okay, so you should know how to manage the containers also. So here we will be learning the Kubernetes, okay, with Docker files and user bases. User model. Okay, so the Kubernetes again has two things: one is administration and other one is user. Okay, here you will be learning how to automate the Kubernetes infrastructure for a user. Okay, so every time you want to deploy something, the pod or the deployment or the config map or anything, you should not go into the CLI and do all that, write some YAML file and apply the YAML file. That should not happen. Okay, you should not, you should have some automation on top of that. Okay, so for such a reason I have kept Kubernetes as a service separately. Okay, which will take 1 week of time to discuss on this and to write automation on top of that. Okay, the rest AWS services that can be that can be handled in AWS services, but for one EKS model we want to have a separate week and a separate automation for that. So coming into automation, okay, that all we have discussed regarding the application deployments. Okay, so now comes what we need to do post automation. Okay, as I said, DevSecOps. Okay, here you will clearly understand what is the difference between the DevOps and Dev Security Ops. Okay, so whatever the infrastructure you are provisioning, is it secure way? Okay, we need to think of that. So uh, it's also not like a one-time requirement, right? So whatever the infrastructure you are provisioning, you should be very you must be very sure that those are all infrastructure or are in a secured and secured configurations only. Okay, for to know that, okay, you have like OPA such a things are there, policy agents. Okay, so you can know how the policies, what policies being applied, what as like I said, everything is a code, right? Terraform a code, okay, Python a code. So whatever these configuration files are there, code files are there, you can put a put a scanners on top of that and you can see whether your infrastructure is secured or not. Okay, so this may be a bit confusing, okay, but when you learn these things, okay, it will be very clear for you how different is like applying security on top of your DevOps. Okay, see, DevSecOps means it is not like having some security groups, okay, having some network policies or something. That is comes under your normal DevOps only. Okay, SecOps is something different, like you are scrutinizing before you are provisioning. Okay, so these things will happen in DevSecOps. Then automation pipeline. Here, mostly we will be choosing Jenkins or Jenkins as a tool. But you have other things also. Git CI/CD is there, drone CI/CD is there. But the thing is, whatever you go, the CI/CD tool you select, the pipeline will be the same. Okay, what the stages you have, how you will manage the secrets, how you will uh, give the handoff from one stage to next stage. Okay, the concepts will be same. So here we will study the concepts and we will implement that via Jenkins, and we will see when related to Python how the uh, Python test cases you will run. Okay, and coming to Terraform, how the lint you will do on top of Terraform. Okay, that you will concentrate on those two things. Along with that, you will learn how to do a pipeline also. Sorry. And then notifications and ORM. So with my experience, what I have seen is, so for every automation, at the end, there may be a need to send the notifications, or there may be a need to send to maintain a ORM. This is object relational mapper. Okay, means at least a small database concepts how you will store the information into your database. Okay, so, apart from this, how do you package your modules? Okay, like how do you create the RPM modules? Okay, out of your automation, something uh, 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 that are related to that. Okay, so you can go to the curriculum and see what are all the topics are there. Okay, but here I have given you a brief overview of how it will be. Okay, then our week schedules. Okay, so till now we have discussed about our concepts and how we will go the course flow. Okay, but here we will uh, deal with the week schedules. Okay, the basics, we can go with the weekdays. Okay, when you are learning the basics, just as you are not entering into any real time uh, application. Okay, so you will be continuously in a stage of your learning only. Okay, so all your learning curve will be involved in this basics. Okay, so I will complete this a week for Terraform and a week for Python, and the weekend will be left to you for your practice purpose. Okay, but when coming to our next coming things, like after the basics, what we have discussed, the Git automations or the system automations, or the Kubernetes entire. For this purpose, what we need is, like, we need to understand the concept first. Okay, so what the services are there. Okay, how you are utilizing the services, what are the commands involved for that particular service. So we need to understand all that. Okay, so we may take a 2 or 2.5 days for that to understand, and we need to write the script for provisioning that all services or that infrastructure. Okay, as in the basics you are learned completely the Terraform, here you should be able to write a Python script for sorry, a Terraform script for provisioning that particular service. Okay, so one day we will be focusing on Terraform, and then we will be focusing on the particular automation we choose for customizing that service. Okay, so this is what on a whole your all week will be. Okay, so Monday, Tuesday we will be discussing about the concept and the service and what the Python code or the commands we use for uh, running that service. Okay, and Wednesdays we will be concentrating on Terraform, and Thursday, Friday we will be having one automation associated with that service, so we will be focusing on writing the automation. Okay, and Saturday we will be focusing on troubleshooting it. Okay, so how to troubleshoot that automation, or uh, parallelly you will be also writing the automation, right? So if you are blocked somewhere, we can discuss that on Saturday. Okay, so
Kuna, one question here. So you will
yeah,
use the Terraform as a infrastructure as a service as a code, right? And Python you will
correct.
use just for the bootstrapping, the web servers or whatever the we are using
Yeah,
for
the
it,
for
right?
that service, we can call it
For
as a
the
service.
service.
Okay, yeah, for that yeah, for that AWS service. Yeah.
Okay. And when within the Docker, are you going to talk about the basics of Docker, or you will discuss about the Docker Compose as well, Docker swarms or anything?
No, no, we are not going for Docker SAM or Docker Compose, because Kubernetes is already there, right? Which is orchestrating the Dockers. So there we will be seeing how Dockers are being managed, the containers are being managed. Even the Docker Swarm is something like previous to Kubernetes, okay, where it can
Okay,
manage the
I
containers.
understood that.
Yeah.
So within
So we are
you
not
said
focusing
you
on
said that
Docker
you're going
Swarm.
to talk about the AWS services, right? For
Correct.
Kubernetes, are you going to refer to AWS EKS or you will be running the
EKS. Correct. EKS.
EKS?
Correct.
Okay, got it. No
Yes.
problem.
So we will be dealing with many services, but I have segregated this EKS because EKS is a big topic. Okay. So I don't want to include that in AWS services. So yeah. Troubleshooting. So wherever you are facing the problems, you can share the screen, okay, and we can see where you are getting struck, okay. If it is a blocker, then we can have a one-on-one session. If it is a common mistake or something is missing, okay, we can fix that on and there, okay. So this is what I'm thinking about the week schedules, okay. So uh, softwares.
So how many
So
hours per week?
mhm.
How many hours on weekday?
How many hours? Okay. It will be 1 hour. Okay. Basing on the syllabus completion and all, it may go 1.5 hour also. Okay. But typically, you can plan for 1 hour only. And maybe Saturdays, if there is no troubleshooting, I will be completing the syllabus, which is if there is any pending syllabus, okay. But I planned uh, accordingly not to lag the syllabus, but there may be some chances. So if such things are there, I will complete those on Saturdays, okay. So typically you can consider it an hour, okay. But if there is some during these Thursdays and Fridays, right, the automation may not complete quickly, then we may extend it furthermore 15 to 20 minutes, okay.
Okay. Can I ask two more technical questions?
Yes, yes, sure, sure, go ahead.
Um, uh, in my organization, we have our on-premise data center, and using
Okay,
VMware, we all provision all the virtual machines. So, will this Terraform help me in that context? That is question number one. Question number
okay,
two: how Terraform is different from Ansible? Because I know a little bit of Ansible also.
okay. See, so for your first question, Terraform is supporting 45 different vendors, okay. So in the Terraform, as a declarative language, what I said, okay, it is what happens is like whatever the vendor you are referring to, okay. So with that particular vendor, how they are giving the options, okay. So whatever the SNPnets they are giving, you are supposed to use those SNPnets. But here in the course, you will be learning how to manage your Terraform code, okay. Maybe there may be some conditions, okay, there may be some iterations involved, okay. So you will learn all those scenarios here. So we are not, we are will be in a situation like whatever the vendor it is, okay, we can write the code for that particular vendor. That is what where you will stand after this course, okay. So you are not, you will not, you need not to bother about the vendor, okay. So when I mentioned like Terraform supports 45 different vendors, okay, those vendors are some vendors are public and some vendors are private, okay. So all that is you need to learn how to manage the code, okay. If there are some iterations, there are some conditions, okay, there is something you need to render information from your cloud, okay. So how you will manage all that, that you will learn here, okay. So once you are done with the learning, irrespective of whatever the vendor it is, just you understand the use case, go to their man pages and write the code accordingly. That is where you will stand, okay. And for the second thing, the second question, can you repeat? The Terraform, whether it is,
And Ansible.
yeah, Ansible you have mentioned, right? See, Terraform and Ansible. See, Terraform will give an option for you to run any commands like bash scripts on at the end. Okay, so once your infrastructure is provisioned, you can do something that you want to orchestrate, okay, using some bash scripts. Terraform will give you that provision, but the thing is, if there is some errors occurring in that, Terraform will not report to you, okay, that this is what the errors are, that what's happened in during your orchestration. Okay, so the orchestration part is not well handled in the Terraform. And remember, Terraform is always only one step process. So if you want to provision your infrastructure, you are provisioning the infrastructure. Don't go for doing actions or doing actions with the Terraform. Okay. So whatever your action items are there, okay, prefer using automation. Okay. So again, orchestration when it comes, okay, you want to install something, okay, so if you go with Ansible, Ansible has a good hold on how to interact with the servers. Okay, so it has already the pre-built uh, uh, tools, okay, which can deal with the repositories and all. So that is where people will tend to use Ansible. Okay, so in the Ansible, if you want to configure some M servers, you can do some apt-get servers, you can do, because uh, Ansible know all that. Okay, so orchestration can be better handled by Ansible. Provisioning can be better handled by Terraform. Okay, so if there are actions that need to be done on frequent basis, that you need to write some automation, and the better is Python. Okay, so for each what part, or for each uh, concepts of infrastructure, there is some tool which can better handle it. Okay, so that is where the difference between Terraform and Ansible comes. Okay, so in the system automation, you will be learning about the Ansible, and in the Ansible again there are some parts like how to get the inventory. Now today you have 100 systems. Okay, so will you write the IP address of all the 100 systems, okay, manually? No, right? You need to have an inventory which needs some automation to get that inventory. Okay, that is what you will study in your system automation also. Okay, so okay, basically to answer your question, that is what the difference between Terraform and Ansible is. Okay, and hope I answered your uh, both
Yeah.
questions.
So as I
Okay,
understand, yeah. So as I
okay.
understand, in Ansible we cannot provision the infrastructure. Ansible only comes into
No,
picture
no,
when we have infrastructure provisioned.
no, no. I'm not telling like it cannot provision the infrastructure, because Ansible has that. Ansible can also provision the infrastructure, but Terraform is the tool which will handle better for provisioning, because it has the state file. Okay, so you know what state it is, but if you use Ansible for provisioning the infrastructure, it will not tell the state. Okay, so how many have been provisioned previously, now how many it is provisioning, these all will not be there in the Ansible. Okay, so
Okay.
what I am telling is the better handling. Okay, Terraform can handle better in provisioning. Ansible can handle better in orchestration. So we are choosing those tools. Okay, even Terraform can orchestrate, Ansible
Organization
can
use both.
provision.
Hmm. Yeah. So
Yeah,
do
yeah.
organization use both Ansible Terraform or either of them use?
No, that based on the context. Okay, if we are having a lot of orchestration, we go for Ansible. If it is a minimal orchestration, we will go for Terraform only. That depends on
Okay.
enterprise to enterprise. That depends on
Hmm.
context. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Can I drop
Yeah.
one question?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I just log in. I forgot about the session, and I'm talking from the United States. I can see most of the name from Indian, and so I don't we don't have the same hour, and I don't know when will be when you guys will start the session every day.
Okay. It will be the same time slot every day.
Like what 7 EST over there, or what IST, or what time United States?
Uh, okay. Let me clarify that. Give me a second.
So it is about
Okay. So what time zone you are in?
10
EST or
o'clock
Um,
PST?
Eastern.
oh, it's gonna be about 10
Oh,
o'clock.
yeah, you will be having at
Eastern
10
time.
p.m.
I see. Okay, thank you. I'll
Yeah.
put another question after.
Okay. So, going to curriculum. Okay. Whatever I discussed. Okay. Um, there are still like in more descriptive way here in the curriculum it is okay. Get this curriculum from the management and go through this curriculum. Okay. So if you are interested or if your organization, in your organization, you are working on any a different automation and which is interesting, just let me know. Okay, we can include that also. For every batch, we are trying to improve the automation here. What the automation is there? Okay, we are trying to maintain these automations as per industry standards. Okay, so the more we discuss about the automations, the more we will understand what the industry standards are also. So for every course we are improving these automations. Okay, so read the curriculum, get back to us with your ideas. Okay, so that if we can accommodate that, we can do that as well. So yeah, this is what all about. Okay, so with continuation of this, tomorrow we will be starting the course also. But prior to that, just I want to request you few things. That is, we need to have a GitLab account. Okay, we need to have a AWS account. Windows or Mac, anything is fine, but I will prefer Vagrant because both will be will be consistent if we use Vagrant. Okay, so Vagrant is something like a VM inside Windows or Mac. Okay, so for tomorrow's class, it's not mandatory that you need to have this, but eventually we will be using all these things. Okay, then PyCharm as an IDE. Okay, I know few people will be using Visual Studio Code and there are many other atoms, something like that. But I prefer PyCharm as we are writing Pythonic code. Okay, even it supports the other extensions also. And apart from this, Python, Terraform, softwares are needed that anyway. Uh, on the go, we will be doing that. Okay, so I will not tell how to do installations and how to do all that. Just I will share the videos with you. By seeing the videos, you can install whatever all required. Okay, so these are the
But Kuna,
prerequisites
why do
what
we
I
need
want.
Vagrant?
Because see, some people will be using Windows, some people will be using Mac. I want to be consistent that everyone using the same voice and everyone using the same pattern what I am doing. Okay. So if we have a Vagrant, I will not face any problems uh, in troubleshooting the OS related things.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it is easy, right? If it is a Vagrant file, I can share it with you all. You can just put that Vagrant file, do the Vagrant up. So whatever the configuration I have, you will be also having the same configuration.
What about the
Yeah.
Linux if I'm using Linux?
Yeah, if you are, yeah, that's what I'm still saying. If you are using still Linux, what the configuration you are having in the Linux? Is your SC Linux enabled or disabled? So there are some all those things, right? So while troubleshooting, we again have a different configurations that will then it will be a problem for troubleshooting. Okay, so if we all have a same configuration, then it will be easy for us
Okay, thank you.
to do some progress. Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm taking one QA class that start at 9 and finish at 10 p.m. And yeah, if I have to do this class, it's going to be a bit tough for me because you guys start at 10 and the other one is finished at 10:30. I don't know. Uh, if and then you are saying that it's going to be most of the time 1 hour. So I'll be starting like after 30 minutes and you're going to be ending at in 30 minutes, which is kind of uh, difficult for me
Yeah,
to
that will
attend it.
be bit problem for you. Yeah.
So I
Um,
don't know.
but I think it's hard to change the timings. But once you can discuss with the management, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So I actually posted a question in the chat.
Okay, I'm
What
going
is the
through the
level?
chat.
What is the level of Python knowledge and Terraform knowledge you expect for this course? I think you're covering the
No,
basics.
we are covering from basics. So yeah, I'm not expecting any hands-on for you to have on Terraform or Python. So I will be taking care of that. We will be starting from the scratch, and then yeah, we will end up with writing the automations.
Okay,
So
got it.
I'm not expecting any hands-on, but if you have a cloud knowledge, that would be good because the more and more infrastructure or features you know, the more you can develop. That's what.
Actually, in our organization, we use more of Azure
Okay.
and less of
Uh,
Amazon.
yeah, the thing is like the concepts will be similar, but the terminology will change from cloud
Hmm,
to cloud. Yeah, so that should not be a big deal for you uh, once you understand here to implement the same in Azure.
I see.
Yeah,
Thank you so
Could
much.
I just use
yeah.
virtual, like visual? I mean, or do I need to use the cloud? What's up?
Uh,
Like,
yeah,
can I
yeah.
use
So
VirtualBox or do I need to do AWS?
you need both, right? Because we will be dealing with the cloud
Hello.
infrastructure only. So uh, if you have a Vagrant installed in your EC2 instance, that is well and good. But having Vagrant in your local is what preferred because during in enterprise level also, whatever you do, you will be doing in your laptop only. You will not do all your working related stuff in the cloud instance, right? So in that ideal manner, if we think better to have development environment inside of your laptop and deal the infrastructure of the cloud. But basically you need both.
Hey Guna, what is the
Uh,
length of this course actually? How long does it take to finish?
I'm expecting like 35 to 40 classes.
Thanks.
Hmm. Yeah, so as like I said, we are improving all the automations related stuff, right? So the past it went 35 classes, means 31 classes along with the practice sessions will be there, right? So again, uh, it is old to old one. So seven automations in the past then. Okay, it will be around, that's what I'm telling. So 35 to 40 sessions you should expect.
And what time you said?
It will be the same time, 7:30 to 8:30.
Okay.
Yeah,
It will be only on AWS?
Starting tomorrow?
yes, starting tomorrow. Yeah, it's only on AWS base, cloud base.
but I think 1 hour a day is kind of small. But by the time people are connecting, and by the time you answer one or two questions, 1 hour should be gone already. So
Um,
I don't know if you guys can think about doing something, because this is not like a yes course. It's like a course where people will not be understanding sometime and ask the question, and we may end up 1 hour without doing anything. So
yeah, so I understand that. So that is where the Saturdays come into picture. We will be having a complete discussions on uh, troubleshooting, where you have been blocked. See, all these days, what happens is there will be not be much scope to discuss the things. This will be like your learning curve. Okay, so there is a Python script, we will be understanding the Python code. If there is a Terraform script, we will be uh, in understanding the Terraform code. Okay, so when it is an automation, again, I will be writing the code. Okay, so when I am writing the code, I will be explaining why I am writing that particular line. So here all the learning curve will be involved. But what happens is like when you try to run the code or something like that, you may have some hiccups. Okay, so that all will be discussed on Saturday. So we will have an entire session on Saturday, and uh, if you are having some blockers, we will go with one-on-one also. So that is how I have that is how I have designed this. Okay, so based on my previous experiences also, that is how we are designing this. Okay, so during your weekdays course, there will not be a much chance for discussions. Okay, majority of the time you will be you will be in the learning curve only.
And so how long will be the session on Saturday?
On Saturday it will be 1.5 hour, and I'm not sure, I'm not strict to timing also. It's like if the troubleshooting is going on, we will be going on extending that, and people uh, who are interested will be there. And if you are not concerned about particular thing, that particular, you can jump off. Got my answer?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Any other questions? Okay, still you can reach out to me. You can call to the management. They will, yeah, will keep a bridge connection. So, yeah, thanks for all of you for joining this session, and hope we had a, good interaction. So, see you all tomorrow. Yep. Bye bye. Have a good day. Good night.
Thank you.